What's up, people? Brr, 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 brr. Surprise, surprise. Okay,
We're here. We're here.
this is a brand new setup for us because things are changing. Um, if you noticed, the setup is the same, more or less. We're just doing some different things. We have new mics.
Partner, let me upgrade.
We will leave an upgrades around here. So it is the 100th episode of Truthful Chats, if you can believe that. We sure can't. But we're here and we're very, very, very excited for you to be here. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If you've been at A1 since day one, we love you. So today we're just going to be talking. Happy Thanksgiving. Sorry. Gratefulness, gratitude. We are grateful to you all. We're grateful to each other for making it on this journey. Um, but we are not going to be before you long, and not in like a black preacher type way, like seriously, because we have to go to Thanksgiving dinner. So but we wasn't going to let y'all down. Okay, we was going to come through. Okay, we know y'all got situations and you with family and you doing things, and it might be time for you to take a reprieve. So we're really happy you're here with us. Anyway, stick around. This episode is for show for you.
Hi, I'm Pam Williams, a mother.
And I'm Jessica E. Williams, a daughter. And this is a mother and a daughter truthful chat, where we discuss our 35-year multi-layered relationship.
We've been through so many ups and downs. Not only are we family, but we're business partners in the high-stress world of event planning and production for short films.
We've also shared the same therapist for over 10 years. What some people call codependence, we call collaboration.
So join us as we share stories from our lives,
Have candid conversations with other mother-daughter duos,
and shed light on the roller coaster ride of being a woman while raising a woman.
All right, y'all.
So I grabbed my mic too because
It's important to do
she
that
said it's better for you to do that.
because we have to have better sound quality. Anyway, with that, welcome to Truthful Chats. Normally, we would clink our mugs because that's what we do around here. But instead, we're going to do this.
You want me to hold your mic? It's
Whoa, Bob. Best sound in the world.
ta-da.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Ooh, hold on. Let's see. Make sure we don't over pour here.
We're
Okay.
celebrating our 100th episode, as Jessica mentioned.
Actually, here. Hold your glass.
Hold my glass.
And then I'll hold my mic. Therefore, we won't have any feedback, God willing. Anyway, we told y'all we was gonna have prosecco, and we do. We're gonna have a lot more because it's the holidays. We're going to holiday. You dig what I'm talking about? So, I finally finished pouring. Yay me, actually. You put that there. We already had
no
a
more
glass.
mishaps.
We had a glass break earlier, so. Hello, eyes. Thank you. Here we go. There we go. Welcome to Truthful Chats.
To the 100th
Hundredth
episode of
episode
Truthful
of
Chats.
Truthful Chat.
Amen.
Oh dang, as I spill on myself. This is our weekly podcast series. If you are just tuning in,
That's good. I might be sipping too much.
it's fun. It's the 100th episode, girl. Do you live your life? Anywho, Truthful Chats is our weekly podcast series under our overarching banner, moniker, motto, if you will, called Create Generational Wellness. That's what we're all about around here. If you've never heard that term and you're like, that sounds cool, I like that, I'm into it, but I've never heard that term, that's because we made it up. So if you hear anyone using Truthful Chats or Create Generational Wellness, really Create Generational Wellness, not associated with Truthful Chats, Pam and Jess, they don't know no black women named Pam and Jess. They don't nuck if you buck. That's all we ask. Copyright is
And
important.
let us know.
Okay. Black women being credited for their contributions is important. We've talked about that on the show before. So anyway, we're celebrating. Okay. Click the link in the description box below.
We made it.
I shouldn't say click. Look around in the description box below. There will be a description of what Create Generational Wellness means. And so we have usually like a theme of the month every month. Okay. And the Truthful Chats is where we expound on that theme in a weekly format fashion, such as what you're watching now. Sometimes we have guests. We'll get into that. So yes, it's November. Our theme is accountability. Okay. A rough one. We started off talking about the season finale of America this month.
I'll take a drink to that.
Watch the party die. Shout out to King Kendrick for dropping GNX out of nowhere, by the way. We love you. Thank you for giving us that for the holidays. You know we needed. Anyway, accountability. And we've talked about several things this month, but this is accountability to transition well. And so y'all remember, if you're a 90s, well, I'm an 80s kid, but you grew up in the 90s. Sometimes on your weekly favorite show, whatever it was, like Fresh Prince, Moesha, if you're of the Black persuasion, they probably did it on Friends. I just didn't really watch that like that. No disrespect. But like they would do like a retrospective episode. It wasn't a real episode, but they would be like, remember that time?
Flashback. Remember this?
And then they would go
And
back
show
and they
clip.
would like do that. So that we wanted to do that because I don't know if any of you have a podcast out there, but it is a feat, to say the least. It is a challenge. When we first started this, we always wanted to do a podcast. We were very inspired by David Shands and the Morning Meetup team. And the main thing that they kept really saying, they was like, you just got to start. They was like, you got to just start. You got to be willing to have a bad show. You got to be willing to suck. Some episodes are going to be popping, the others not so much. You got to get to the tech issues. You got to figure out what your output is. Like there are just things that you have to figure out. And if you don't start, you're going to give yourself all the excuses as to why you can't start, right? Whether it's tech problems or lighting problems, or you don't have the equipment or whatever. So we just started with what we had, which was my laptop. We bought a Blue Yeti mic, 2 Blue Yeti mics.
We bought one first.
Well, we bought one.
Another
Then
one.
we bought another one.
Because I think that's what we're talking about, the transition. Like we started with this and then it went to that and then it went to this and then it went to that.
It's like life. It's growth. It's evolution. And so, yeah, it's been scary. It's been intimidating. I think we've got some things right. We for sure have got some things wrong. And behind the scenes, we definitely like bickered. I think a lot of it has been like us learning how to work together. Working with family is not easy. Some of y'all probably know that. But anyway, we were just in the beginning excited to start, right? And wanting to be consistent and taking on the challenge and just starting. Like my whole thing was like, no matter what happens, every Thursday, we're going to have an episode for 2 years. Like I was like, we're getting to 100th episodes. People were like, nobody takes you seriously before 100 episodes. They don't know that you're committed. You start. Like, so I was like, nah, if we're going to do this, we're going to do 100 episodes. We're going to go hard in the paint. And we've done that. And so today we just want to do one of those sort of like retrospective 90s episodes and talk about our journey thus far. So Pammy, is there anything that you remember from the beginning?
I would like to celebrate us. You know, we always talk about celebrating little wins.
Okay. We had a series that was the word of the month, I think in June of last year, maybe this year.
Celebrating us, getting to 100 episodes. 100 episodes. Come hell or high water.
It's not a small feat, people. I'm serious. Like, and I think that's for anything in life, right? Whenever you start something, you're not sure. You just feel compelled to do something. You might have all the tools, you might not, right? And you just gotta start. So we're compelled to starting, compelled to continuing, even when we had other things going on. You know what I mean?
Traveling, different parts of the country,
family stuff.
Which is why we had to get 2 mics. So things evolve, things change, and you make the adjustment.
Evolve with the process. But in the beginning, I think we were just very excited. This was a new venture. We had done some other things before, but I don't think anything quite like a podcast. You know what I mean? So just the creativity, the initial like not knowing, but like we doing this scared, but we doing it anyway kind of thing.
Taking a leap of faith.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. Which you'll see on the cover art for this episode. Anyway, beginning I think was just excitement. It was fun. It was taking the knowledge that we were learning in real time and applying it and seeing what worked and what didn't work. But the main thing was we was gonna be consistent. We was like, we stick it to 100 episodes. And some weeks that was very hard over others. like today. And we have very different styles of working. Pam is very task oriented. I'm a creative. So I'm like, I don't really care how we get it done as long as we get it done. Right. She's very task oriented. I don't know if you want to talk more to that. And we've been talking to our therapist about it. We're just being 100. Like, honestly, that has been a lot.
Probably our biggest conflict during the podcast. Truthfully, in a truthful chat is the way we work is very, very different. and he talks about it sometimes. And we'll get into more of this in a later episode. But I
Especially
come
when we're
from
more healthy place, and we're of two different generations.
we're two
as
different
well.
generations. I come from a very corporate background. I worked in corporate America all my life. So, you got deliverables, you got deadlines, you got this, you got that. She's very creative. She goes by, I feel this.
See, when she does like that, doesn't it feel condescending to all the millennials and the Gen Zers and the alphas? Don't let your parents or your grandparents play you, okay? Like, you're good.
But
they're not
I
used
feel
to
the same way when you go, I'm
you are task oriented.
So anyway, we differ there. So that's been a big thing that we've been working through over these 100 episodes.
And
we're still working
as
through.
someone told me this week, where they were like, well, I think it's apropos. I think the other thing is we were committed to having truthful chats, right? Like I was telling somebody this week, I was like, we're about having like honest, candid conversations, not curated conversations. So I was like, if we ask you some questions and they don't ring true, answer like you would normally answer in a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, don't feel like you need to put on an answer, right? So we've been committed to that, but also going through our transitions to get to generational wellness for ourselves. And part of that is us being of two different generations. And sometimes we don't do all things well. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be like, y'all are the generation who, like, their feelings didn't really matter to them too much. Like, this is a new phenomenon for, I would say, I'll put the Gen Xers in there. Y'all don't get enough credit. Shout out to y'all.
45 and over.
I would say Gen X down the line. I think millennials, we kind of took that thing on a little bit more.
What age does Gen X kind of start? 40, 45?
I would say they're like the late 70s babies. So like 78, 79. Okay. No, I'm talking about the people who were born then.
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure I don't have glass in my foot, y'all.
I'm trying to make sure I don't have glass in my foot.
Anyway, but millennials, we definitely we're an emotional generation. Like, we take inventory and stock of our emotions before we do things. And if it ain't, the math ain't mathing emotionally, we'd be like, we'll get back to that. We're in a better place, because we believe that affects our emotional output affects our work input. So if we're not in a good place,
emotional input affects your work output.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Emotional input affects our work output. So if we are emotionally frazzled or over the place or not feeling it, like, it's going to show up in the quality of our work.
And we are
whereas the baby boomers
are the opposite.
Complete opposite.
Our work output affects our emotional outfit. If the work ain't get done, we don't feel good.
I don't know that that's true. I think that's true for you.
Okay.
I think y'all are the generation of, y'all weren't necessarily emotionally in touch. Y'all were raised by a generation that was definitely not emotionally in touch. So y'all just know how to power through. Like, it doesn't matter how you feel. It's got to get done. So that's just like a fundamental core value difference. You're going to clash with people of older generations just because we value emotions differently. And like, that's how you get to like, oh, y'all soft, y'all not. I'm like, are we, or are we just a little bit more in touch with things? I'm not saying it's better or worse. I'm like trying to one up. I'm just saying it's a difference. If we're not emotionally tapped in, that's going to affect the level of work that we output. And we want to be just as excellent as we've been raised to be better Black girls and better Black boys, and make sure we twice as good, which is a whole nother conversation. But I think just working through that fundamental difference has been an interesting ride, to say the least. But we still showing up 100 episodes, showing up doing plays till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, working on things, showing up after having rode around and do Uber Eats till 2-3 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's part of the journey of consistency, I would say. So I think that's sort of been like the middle journey of the podcast. It's just the weekly minutia,
making sure it gets done, gets up, gets out.
And we work very differently. And like, I'm able to be spontaneous. I could turn on these lights and this camera and this mic, and we could just have a straight up conversation. Pam needs a script. That's very different. I
don't need a script.
She likes to research.
But I like an outline.
She likes to research. She likes to prepare. She's saying outline. That's not true. She likes copious notes. Like, and I keep telling her, this isn't a lecture. It's not a class. I know you are a former Sunday school.
I'm a teacher
educator
by gifting. Gifting.
And we have a lot of like Undot was a teacher. Margie was like, we have a lot of educators in our family. So I get it. podcasting is educating, but it's just in a different way. So we've had to work through that. I'm very creative, spontaneous. She needs a lot of structure. Some days I'd be like, bro, I really don't care about that script. Can we just do the thing? It's like, but I need. So I've had to be patient.
And I feel like
and
in terms of
go
being
off.
accountable, I feel like in terms of being accountable to the audience and to the people, like you might care about what I have to say or you might not.
But that's the beauty of a podcast. If we're not talking to you, you'll move on to another podcast.
I keep trying to get that.
So
part in my
yes,
head.
we want the accountability to be excellent, but if the conversations are interesting and you care, you're gonna be here.
And
I don't need to like jazz it up with 9,200 notes or 9,200
and
statements.
I think that we talk about things that are a little bit clinical in nature. They're not super clinical, but
Because
little,
she's super clinical. That's what I'm trying to say. She's
because
clinical.
I
I'm
am
emotional.
I am a coach and a
See what I'm
teacher.
saying?
So that's how kind of
Now
so I
emotions
feel
need to be a
like-
part of that also. But
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? It's a balance. I'm a Gemini, okay? Shout out to the king, Kendrick. Also, a
I
Gemini.
feel like at
It's
the end of the
balance.
day, you should walk away knowing something concrete that you didn't know before.
I completely agree. I think though that it don't all need to be in the script. Like some of that needs to be your own knowledge or Google. You know, we always say Google is your friend
So
around
that's
here.
why I say I have notes. It turns into a script. But
It turns into
anyway,
a script. But
research,
anyway, that is part of us
I'm creative.
learning how to work together.
I do creative research. She does creative thinking.
Sure.
That's
But
good.
again, that's been part
It's
of
different.
our not trying to mold each other into the thing, but have respect for what the person is and who they are, how they're wired, and what they bring to the table. Okay.
Mhm.
That's been a lot of things. We want to thank all of our guests. If you've ever been a guest on this show, this is me going off the top of the dome. If I miss you, forgive my head. Charges to my head, not my heart. Dr. Valencia Edner, who is family. She's also coming for the holidays. We're very excited.
should be
about
here
that.
for Christmas.
So she's coming through.
Ooh, you're about to mess up.
I'm not. Brandon Rochelle, always. Bishop Brandon, love you always. All of the therapists that stopped by. So that is Dr. Jason Plunkett, Dr. Farah Mizari. Thank you. See, I was getting it wrong then.
I probably got it wrong then too. Sorry, Farah. Dr. Farah.
Dr. Farah. Tiffany Shanks.
That's right.
And our own, the greatest, the GOAT, Dr. Tremaine Walker.
Anybody that can
who
put up
keeps
with us for over 12 years
is the GOAT.
Here's
Right,
a toast to you.
Here's a toast to you, Tremaine, because you're the realest. And he a Kendrick fan, so why do I just keep dropping
And Dr. Nina.
liquor? Yes, I was getting there. That was a therapist that came, but we also want to thank, Dr. Nina Stewart, Deanna Modro, who came to talk to us about budgeting and get our lives together. Oh, actually, hold on. Sorry, let me check our notes. So yeah, Dr. Nina was Reset Your Gut Health. Okay, that's Truthful Chat 76. Deanna Muldrow was Reset Your Spending Plan. That was Truthful Chat 77. Aaron, Monique, we want to shout you out as well. That was Fun, Music, and Joy. Truthful Chat 80. And then all the therapist episodes were creating generational wellness tenets. So I think like around like 61 or so.
66.
No, I'm saying for 61 beforehand.
61, yeah.
We
for
did a
the
couple
tenants.
episodes that were sort of like tenets of like, this is how you can identify if you're a person who cares about creating generational wellness. And then immediately after that, we decided to follow it up with some licensed clinical therapists. So y'all know we just wasn't up here bullshitting, but that we had backup.
See if you like create generational wellness, whether we're spontaneous or we have research. If it's a topic that interests you,
it's a topic. So
Yeah.
anyway, the create generational wellness tenets with the therapist were Truthful Chats 66 through 69. Excuse me. So those were all the doctors that we mentioned. Or I should say trained medical physicians. I just know some people are not doctors and they don't want to be known as that. So licensed clinicians for mental and emotional health. And then we also want to thank the Thomases, Joy Thomas, Iris Thomas, that were featured on our Generational Gaps episode. It was our Dynamic Mother and Daughter episode,
That
which was
in May,
number
Mother's Day.
71. Yeah, that was for Mother's Day. I know we had some sound issues with that one because we have a village and a tribe that keeps us honest. So,
And they were like, that was a good issue, but the sound was trash.
So, God willing, in post, we'll be able to fix that so y'all can hear that the way that it was, because that was trial and error. We were working with a good friend of ours who's dynamic and great at what he does, but there were some things that we had to learn on the fly, right? So check out those episodes. I would say this year, I mean, I love all our episodes, but I think one of the ones I really enjoyed was Truthful Chat 94, which was Surrender Your Pride to Elevate. Surrender came out of us having gone to Woman Evolve. Shout out to Pastor Sarah, Jakes, Roberts. Prayers to the Roberts family. I don't know why Lucy would try to come for Bishop. I mean, I know, but don't come for Bishop Thomas Dexter Jakes like that in the room full of the Potter's House saints and think that you're not going to get handled. Anyway, we're praying for the Jakes and we're glad that Bishop is better. Continuing to pray. But anyway, we went to Woman Evolve, had an amazing time. And so that as we were digesting what we got from that conference and Surrender, that was one of the episodes we had, and that was all about pride, which I feel like we don't talk enough about, even though we live in a society of
Very
pure
prideful.
narcissism.
Yeah.
Especially in the Americas. I think it's global, if I'm being honest, and I think the internet and social media hasn't necessarily helped, but yeah, I thought that was an important episode to highlight. You we just talking about this year though, because we had some bops in the first season too.
I think some of my favorite episodes this year, Erin was really one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, it was fun.
Erin is the most joyful person I think I know. Whenever I see her or I'm around her, she just brings, you know how some people walk in a room and they either bring
light
like
up the room,
the Daria energy, or they bring
not the Daria.
light, great, abundant.
Sorry, for those of y'all who don't know, Daria was a animated series in the late 90s that was on MTV, and it was about this white girl who was
clinically depressed,
living in a suburban town. Daria had a lot of fun adventures and she was great, but she wasn't necessarily always emotionally
she
outgoing.
was always like this
in her very small town. She was like a straight chaser, very like, but she wasn't always high energy, but she did tell the truth.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can watch it, I think, on Paramount Plus for those that didn't grow up in that generation. But go ahead.
Well, Erin is the opposite of that. Erin brings joy.
She's Quinn
and life and bubbles. And yeah, Erin is like a glass of champagne. There's always going to be some little bubbles.
It's always some bubbles
floating around in there. Okay. So I really enjoyed that because we hang out together. We try to hang out together. I mentor.
She likes her more
a lot of
people.
Okay, and
she
so
does.
Erin is one of the people that I mentor, but we're friends as well. And so we always try to get together at least once a month, once every 6 weeks, and it's always very uplifting. So I appreciated that, and we wanted to share that with you guys, how bringing that joy in your life can be a place where you create generational wellness. And that doesn't mean she doesn't have her ups and downs and things go.
She's a human, so
in and out wrong. She's not, happy, bubbly all the time.
Do we ever featured any perfect people on the show
to push through to find the joy? And I appreciate that. And then I think my other episodes are always the Black History Month episodes, and particularly last year in Black History Month, we featured people who are making Black history right now. They're making, just go to February.
Like the 8, 9s, and 10s or something like that. February. Maybe a little bit.
And so
above.
Those were the people who were making Black history like right now. And then this February, we featured how our legacy.
It was important because they were getting ready to take away our rights to teach our own history, which y'all did successfully. And so we thought it was important because a lot of times we talk about Black history in the past, past tense, and we don't pay attention to what the shoulders that we stand on, right? And that people are taking the time to make Black history now. So living Black history, that's why in the first year it was important to highlight Jade Okanaki, Dr. Kirk Quiglis, Sophina Brown,
Brandon.
Brandon
Rashaw, and then Taiji,
Melanated Archives, and Kids in the Spotlight. So go back and watch those. And then this year, our episodes that were Truthful Chat 58 through 61 was all Living Black History. So we talked about just Black love, I think, the church, parenting,
And food.
and food, yeah, and just these things that was inspired by Netflix High on the Hog. So just things that like
They're part
places and spaces that usually don't get the recognition
that
that we've evolved in.
and they're taking a look at that history is one of the ways that we can create generational wellness.
Correct.
If we go back and we actually look at where we came from and the migration and how we got from point A to point B, there are lessons in there, and
Don't
those
miss
are the things that we like to look at. So,
And I think in light of what's happened in terms of the season finale of America, I think that was important just so we can have it on the archives. You know what I'm saying?
Grounding,
The internet's this gonna live forever. You dig what I'm talking about?
maybe.
Until they decide to turn off the YouTubes. But it'll live somewhere. And so I think it's important, like, especially since we were experiencing an erasure, and we're definitely gonna experience a bigger erasure, that we put that stuff on wax so that people can find it, kids can find it. That we do come from a very resilient, strong, incredible people group that have survived time and time again. Now, that being said, in this next stretch, I don't know that that's what they want for you, but I'm gonna let you talk to your God, talk to your ancestors, and figure it out. But yeah, we thought it was important to highlight Living Black history. We're gonna continue to do that no matter where we are in the world, because that's important, and those are the shoulders we stand on. So please go back, check those episodes out, and start from the beginning, man.
Where are we going next? What we about to do?
What we about to do? Okay, so this is sort of like, I don't be a Debbie Downer, but it's sort of the end of an era. In terms of like, we got to 100 episodes, and I watch a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts. There's so many people who do things that I admire, but I didn't have, excuse me, the bubbly is making me burp, the skill set. I don't have, I stay in my own lane. I do what I can do. If I can't, I'm not gonna pretend with you. But what I can say is, as we were being consistent, some friends of ours were tapping in to what we were doing. They were like, this is cool, this could be better. They decided to come on board on the team and help us take this up a notch. So I will say that consistency pays, because I think when people see that you are committed to something, that you are staying on it, that you love it, even on the days you hate it.
I was about to say the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly. Shout out to Lecrae. That they want to be connected to that. They're like, this is good. This is important. It's important to you. It's important to me. How can we help? And so we have two of my amazing friends coming on the team who you'll meet in the next episode. We come back in January. I just want to remind everybody, we are going hiatus. Okay. We will not be here for the month of December. Our goal and our benchmark, as we've been saying for the last few episodes, was to hit 100 and then take time to revamp, especially since we have people with way more expertise. Y'all should have seen them in here on Tuesday, helping us figure out this new setup.
I was sitting in the corner.
They have provided this incredible equipment for us, so the sound is better. They're just incredible people, and people who have been, I'm just super grateful just to have them in my life in general as my friends.
Amen.
And
pays to have good friends. Pays to be a good person, so you have good friends. So
and that,
congratulations
thank
to you for
Thank
being a good enough person to have good friends.
You attract what you put out, and some of that was a lot of prayer. We can talk about that on a different episode, but yeah, I'm happy that the prayers that I prayed for the people in my life that I wanted to be connected to, that are integrous, that are good-hearted people, whether we working together or not, that like bring me joy, that contribute to the family environment. Sometimes you get, and we can get into all the reasons about this, which I think we talked about in Living Black History, right? Systematically, Black families have been destroyed, and so sometimes you get people who don't understand the notion of family, or maybe idealize it too much, or they just been so broken, right? So I think when you find people who, can go along to get along, but also challenge and do that kind of stuff is cool. So anyway, shout out to having like-minded individuals who are coming aboard, who see the potential, who are with the message and want to grow and expand the podcast. So
And we've gotten some really
we're
good comments,
transitioning
too from, people. I'm a numbers
that we didn't
person.
even know were watching or listening, because to me, and this was really like, I think our main gripe podcast wise
with each other.
yes,
Okay.
I was treating these 100 episodes like
A beta test.
not even really a beta test. You know how like Jean-Michel Basquiat is one of my like favorite painters, and like they will talk about how he just would like live in the studio, right? Or like your favorite musician, right? Like Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite artists of all time, period. And not everything gets released, right? This is a different situation, obviously, but it's like doing sketches or throwing paint on the wall. Like to me, these were all like, it's like the mixtape era of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? We're not necessarily going for commercial success. We just trying things. We're gonna see what works, what don't work, and we're gonna push it out and we're gonna see who it resonates with. And I think that for me, it was more of a creative journey. This is the numbers person. So what I kept trying to tell her was like, we not at that part of the story, bruh. Like she was like, but I was like, we not at that part of the story. I'm not concerned about the numbers. I'll tell you when I'm concerned about the numbers. But right now, we just doing sketches. We just throwing paint on the wall. We doing abstract paintings. Like
that was hard for me.
We might not even sell these. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're up there for the consistency's sake. But had we not been doing mixtapes, sketches, paintings, I don't know that we would have 2 more team members. So I think it's just a matter of what you put value on. And I'm not saying the numbers don't matter. Like that's important. But I was like, we're not at that phase. This is not a gallery showing. Do you know what I mean? This is
how many butts did we put?
We just putting crowns on the refrigerators and seeing if the people even like that. You know what I'm saying? That's where I was. Whereas she was trying to, make it commercial already and do all this. And I was like, we just in the creative phase. So now I'm excited to see when we transition what that's gonna look like.
In my corporate job at my old school,
at my old school,
we put out a trade show every 6 months. So that was a deliverable every 6 months. Like
now, granted, she said corporate. This is entrepreneurship.
I know.
So I think
my brain.
But I know it's okay. I'm just telling people for like, if you are working with anybody who is
this is a good point. You're
indoctrinated into corporate culture, because that's what it is. It's an indoctrination. Mm-hmm. You got to be patient if you're the creative person, because they're going to try
to have to be patient if you're the corporate person.
I get it, but they're going to try to indoctrinate you. I'm not trying to indoctrinate you to anything. I'm just saying this is a creative process. Let the creative process be creative. She gonna always try to proselytize to me about deliverables. I'm like, bro, I had jobs before. I know what deliverables are. We're not at that part of the story. I'm like, when we get there, if we like, man, I don't know. Well, we can have that discussion. But to me, that's not what this 100 episodes are. This was the caterpillar trying to come out the cocoon. That's what this was. And we got some wings now.
I can get with that.
We got some wings now, and we about to take off from the cocoon and see where we are. Now we can start talking about that other stuff. But for me, we was the caterpillar in the cocoon, doing all the caterpillar cocoon things.
And now we're transitioning.
Into being a butterfly. To pimp a butterfly.
Being a butterfly.
We love you, Kendrick.
We have beat our wings against the cocoon enough to come out.
That's all we was doing, shawty. See, and it took this 100th episode for us to finally have this kind of breakthrough, because we was beefing behind the scenes. We had to be in therapy. We was about to quit every other week. We just being 100. This is the most truthful chat we've ever gotten. But it took us 100 episodes to be able
to quit this
to
week.
Say this. We was gonna quit this week, okay? So,
but we're not.
It's a truthful chat. Okay, we're gonna be honest, but we're committed
and we're
to this,
celebrating,
and we're celebrating, and we're committed to this idea of creating generational wellness, and that means for us too. You can't talk about it and not be about it.
For you, your family, and the culture. That's what we say. That's what we want. That's what we're committed to. And we have had people that we don't even know were listening or watching. We didn't even know they were listening or watching. Whatever. They will meet us somewhere and say, "Hey, I'm watching your podcast.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all. That's really good." And we're like, "Oh, okay."
You're watching. You're tapped in. You're tuned in.
Okay.
Because we haven't really been doing a lot of marketing push, and I know that because I'm not a marketing person, but we have a marketing person, so that's all very exciting. This is all very deja vu, by the way.
You feel it?
For sure. I do.
Good. I'm glad.
I see things like that. So we're excited to have 2 new team members.
Who you will meet
Squad.
shortly.
I don't even know what to call them because they're like not employees. It's not a thing.
No,
We
they're
just-
not employees because we
we're
can't
not
pay them
paying them
yet.
yet.
So that's for
So
sure.
if y'all want to keep the show going and pay these amazing people who are coming to help us,
You'll see.
we'll have opportunities for that in a new year. But yeah, they'll be here for the next episode. We're gonna keep things top secret. But yeah, man, the motto ain't changed. 100 episodes in. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud
for
of you.
not quitting on me. I'm proud of me for not
Not
quitting
quitting
on
on
you.
That's right.
Sometimes you gotta big yourself up.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show these things. I'm grateful to Tremaine Walker for making our family work, not just our business.
Listen,
but our
Tremaine's
family
the best
work.
therapist. I'm gonna tell you, because some days we'll go in there and we'll do a business plan for 2 hours, and we'll
We'll do
have all
whatever.
kind of stuff on the
Or we'll be
whiteboard.
emotionally distraught.
And
he'll
then
be
some
like,
days
"We
we'll
not
go
doing
in
that
there
today."
crying and
He can
weeping
bob and weave.
and falling out, and whichever way we go,
He's always there.
he is very helpful, very open, very receptive, he's a
listens.
good listener
And shout out to a black man who's that emotionally in touch
and a good
tuned
pusher.
in.
Like sometimes he said, Miss Pam, I'm about to ask you a hard question. So
Or he said, Jess, you my man 50 grand, but I'm about to challenge you real quick.
yeah,
You
when
mind
he
if I
says
challenge
you my man 50 grand, that's it. You know, it's
Okay,
about to be
okay,
bad.
okay.
But anyway, thank you to everybody who's listened, who's helped, who's given us
Thank
a
you, thank
comment,
you, thank
who's
you.
encouraged us on those
Who's
days.
encouraged Pam in the experimental phase.
Encouraged me when
podcast.
I'd be like, what are we
Who
doing?
are we talking
Who
to?
are we
Where are the
talking to?
numbers? I'm like,
Where are the
corporate.
people? But it's invariably when it happens, somebody will come up to me and man, that was really good what you said, and I was like, oh my god. So anyway, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. And if you have a dream in your heart, man, just follow the vision. We're here to tell you it's not gonna be easy.
Mm-mm.
Some days you're not gonna want to do it. You got to push through anyway. Because people are dependent on whatever that vision is that God or the universe or the ancestors, whoever you believe in, gave you. And so the accountability that you have is to see that thing out to the end, baby. Ride the wheels till they fall off. Because you never know. You never know what your
Boom.
obedience, now I'm about to be churchy, what your obedience is connected to. And so you not doing the thing or saying the thing or writing the thing or doing the book or starting the thing could really
Or having a conversation.
have,
Just having a conversation.
you know what I mean? Somebody's life in the balance. So I know that was very heavy, but
No, but it was real.
but it's real. And especially going into 2025, because we've seen this movie before, but we also haven't seen this movie before. So just keep your head on swivel. Lean into your family and your friends, like I just said today.
Enjoy these holidays.
I said this might be the last holiday season we ever have in the Americas. So
as we know it.
even though this is a day for genocide, we are going to lean into gratitude instead of genocide. And
the other G word.
and we are going to celebrate Christmas, even though we know Jesus probably wasn't born there and during that time frame. And winter is foolishness. There's a lot of pagan holidays mixed in with spirituality. But the point is, lean into the people, the places, the things that give you joy, because it could be a dark place out here. And we hope that this podcast has been a ray of light, a ray of realness.
And we'll continue to be so.
Just a place to like come and cry and lay your burdens down and all that black church stuff. Anyway, with that,
and learn something.
Because the teacher's always gonna. I want you to feel good. She wants you to learn.
I want you to learn.
I want you to learn something too. But you know what I mean.
I want you to learn something that's going to help you feel good. How about that? All right.
This is your space. Anyway, with that, we love y'all so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Kwanzaa. Feliz Navidad. Even though
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year, because we won't see y'all. But when we come back,
in January.
We'll see you in January, and we're super excited. We love y'all so much. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Sorry. I was being emotional and I forgot. But you're not going to know anything about what's happening that's new, up and coming, if you are not subscribed on our YouTube channel, Facebook, fan base, IG. We are at Create Generational Wellness on all our platforms. That might change given our marketing person's discernment. But anyway, stay tapped in at Create Generational Wellness so that whatever's happening,
You will know.
You'll be the first to know. With that, we love y'all so much. Have a happy, beautiful, joyous, fantabulous holiday
Weekend.
and we'll see y'all in 2025. We love y'all.
Okay.